As you know, we're all big Swifties here. So we were very surprised at the suggestion that Miss Swift may be working for our government. Now, where was this idea laid down? I bet you'll never guess. At Fox News.
Really?
Fox News suggested this. All right, so let's see what they had to say about this.
Taylor Swift's the biggest star in the world. Sorry, Gutfeld. She's been blanketed across the sports media entertainment atmosphere. The New York Times just speculated she's a lesbian. And last year's tour broke Ticketmaster. A tour that's revenue tops the GDP of 50 countries. I mean, I like her music. She's all right. But I mean, have you ever wondered why or how she blew up like this? Well, around 4 years ago, the Pentagon's Psychological Operations Unit floated turning Taylor Swift into an asset during a NATO meeting. What kind of asset? A Psyop for combating online misinformation. Listen.
You came in here wanting to understand how you just go out there and counter an information operation. Well, the idea is that social influence can help encourage or promote behavior change, so potentially as like a peaceful information operation. I include Taylor Swift in here because she's a fairly influential online person. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yeah, that's real. The Pentagon Psyop unit pitched NATO on turning Taylor Swift into an asset for combating misinformation online.
Okay. All right. So
how old is that girl?
So yes, there.
What is the Epstein Island girls talking about assets? What is going on?
Well, that's like I always feel that way about who's the new one over at CNN that they had host the Trump town hall. Katie Collins.
Caitlin Collins. You're talking about.
I always feel that way. Like she's like a teenager wearing her mother's clothes when I see her. So. It's really creepy. So yeah, look, there is a long history, as he's about to get into, of the intelligence services using artists, sometimes with their
Jackson
knowledge.
Pollock.
So Jackson Pollock, sometimes not. So he gets into this a little bit, although he mentions Elvis, which that's not quite what was going on. That was more like Elvis in a drug-fueled frenzy decided
the DEA
spontaneously to go see Nixon.
Well, that's how but I heard
that wasn't like planned by Nixon. That was like, sir, Elvis is here. What?
That's why I say America's
who's at the gate?
Yeah, they made a movie about it. Oh wait, I heard of this before. Okay, never mind him saying that now. I thought you were going to show this other thing because this is about maybe 3 or 4 months ago. There's this weird. You know, if you ever wonder what your friends that are shit libs, what they hear, they were talking about her helping the economy. Taylor Swift is single-handedly. It was like this stupid kind of, and it was floating around people, especially people I knew in New York that work on like like Seth Meyers kind of shows. I don't know how you Stephen Colbert people.
Yeah.
So since I heard that,
those are the shows they make in New York. Late night comedy and shit.
And I'm like, what is this story? And I'm like, oh, this must be the news you hear. So back then I assumed, the Biden campaign's reaching out to her to help sell their, that's what they all do now.
Well, this is what this is what they suggest. Okay, so let's see. He starts laying out some of the other artists who were ensnared by the government.
This is nothing new. In the 1950s, the government strong-armed Louis Armstrong into doing propaganda tours across Africa. The CIA did the same thing with jazz singer Nina Simone, except they did it without her really knowing. In the 70s, Nixon enlisted Elvis in his war on drugs. He gave the king a badge and named him a covert federal law enforcement agent.
That's not.
We got to stop people from doing drugs because I can't get any now.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson was tapped by Reagan using his song Beat It in his public service campaigns against teen drinking and driving. Michael Jackson.
I thought Beat It was to promote teen celibacy through masturbation.
Mr. President.
Boys, in the words of the great Michael Jackson, just beat it.
Mr. President, how many children are going to be on the set for this ad? Oh, I'm there. Rum, right?
Persuading minors not to drink. Anyway, so is Swift a front for a covert political agenda? Primetime obviously has no evidence. If we did, we'd share it. But we're curious because the pop star who endorsed Biden is urging millions of her followers to vote. She's sharing links. And her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, sponsored by Pfizer. And their relationships boosted the NFL ratings this season, bringing in a whole new demographic. So how's the Psyop going? Well, as usual, Biden's not calling the shots because he doesn't even know who Taylor Swift is. He's confused her with Britney Spears and Beyonce.
All right. So before we get into that, I am not a sports guy, so I know Keaton is. Kurt, you're a sports person?
No.
So, all right. So what's the sponsored by Pfizer thing? What, he has that on his ass?
He's the anti-Aaron Rodgers.
What does he mean by that?
He did some ad for getting vaccinated, and he's a football player.
He dates her.
So that's what it is.
So he
dates
did a
her,
vaccine ad.
Yeah, they're like a PR couple. Like there's some PR person, put them together, and then people ship them. Where'd you go? I want them in a relationship.
Well, according to the Times, he's just her beard. She's actually
the Times said she's a lesbian.
They probably both beards.
The Times, in one of their most distinguishing moments, that piece is going to win the Pulitzer Prize.
A double beard? Well, that's how you know
look,
it's a psyop.
If it were any conservative outlet that wrote that piece, the New York Times would be the first newspaper. They wrote a whole piece speculating on a sexuality that she herself has said, no, I'm not. I'm not gay. I thought you're supposed to respect that. Can you imagine if Fox News wrote, I think this thing was like 5,000 fucking words speculating on coded queerness in Taylor Swift lyrics? Can you imagine if a conservative outlet did something like that? Nobody would be screeching like the New York Times. How dare they, rightly so, how dare they start speculating about someone's sexuality this way? It's none of your fucking business in the first place. And she's also made it very clear. She's actually said very, very clearly, wow, I started hanging out with women because I got tired of people speculating every time I was with men. But apparently they can speculate about that too.
Oh,
she said that in the past. So why would you write a piece like that about her?
That was very lesbian of her to say that.
I mean, that is what a lesbian would say.
Well, what's the big deal?
It's true, yeah. So what if we're doing a Vestal Virgins party at my house? All right, so let's okay. So this Biden clip is pretty funny. Keaton, you have anything to add?
Yeah, no. Let's see the Biden clip.
You could say even this harder than getting a ticket to the Renaissance tour or Rip Whitney's tour. She's down in. It's kind of warm in Brazil right now.
Taylor Swift's the biggest star in the world.
I mean, that guy's got the election in the bag.
The Renaissance tour?
It's like one time I went to Ren Fair and I had one of those turkey legs.
She's a Rennie? You're Beyonce.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of truth with a whole lot of crazy there, which is what you would usually get over at Fox.
I don't understand why Fox is talking. They're like sponsored by Pfizer. They weren't sponsored by Pfizer for most of the pandemic. Am I wrong?
Right. Well,
I thought Tucker was in trouble for mentioning that.
I mean, this is just, it's the flip side of MSNBC, especially now that they got rid of Tucker. Like what? I mean, you might as well watch straight white male Joy Reid over there. It's the same. It's the same.
He
shit.
looks like a guy that seduces old ladies, is what my girlfriend said. And it's 100% true. He's got Brill cream hair. You're like, I don't know, her music's okay.
So I mean, some of this is the only thing, and this is why I always think of the line in Ghostbusters: dogs and cats living together, total chaos. Yeah, man, this kind of speculation in the past, that's a very left kind of thing to start getting into. How the intelligence agencies have manipulated pop stars to psyop and now you would never hear something like that on CNN and MSNBC.
A lot older people need to hear it. Look, this is like a chewed, watered down. It's really funny, like just like really like elevator music version of heavy metal, and it's for old people, right? And a whole bunch of people that to this day. They're all older than me.
Conspiracy
they
for
watch
grandpa.
Fox. Some of them won't watch Fox anymore. They only watch like Sky, right? And then those old people like MSNBC and and I guess depends if you're coastal or not, or what your job is.
Yeah. So look, I mean that the opening part is true. That stuff's true. start getting into she's running a psyop, I feel about this the way I feel about a lot of those things. Why would they need to run a psyop? It's out in the open. Most of these celebrities are just libs who mindlessly support the Democratic Party.
Which part though? Not the lesbian thing. You're talking about.
No, I am not going to venture to speculate.
Messing with my head.
Most of these libs are lesbians. They make movies. They're on OnlyFans, and you can pay to see them. But that aside,
dude, that's a fake, like a Hollywood style put together relationship with that football guy, and it's probably a bunch of
maybe. I mean, look, I'm alert. From what I've seen her say in the past, I think she's a total creation. I've said this. I've said this before. I was reading an article that talked about how they mine money from their fans. Get the blue edition of the album. Oh, next week it's the orange edition, limited edition. Next week it's the green edition.
Pop music.
Get the special
thing.
Was there pop with integrity?
Like I believe we're only about 10 years away from creating a Taylor Swift in a computer, and then you don't have to make sure it has any special M&Ms in its dressing room.
Well, in a world of such intense corporate consolidation, it's really impossible to know where the marketing campaign ends and where the psyop begins.
Right.
Like
it's
the
the same
line
thing.
just blurs in. It's all the same shit. Right. Exactly. And look, he put that little, history up with the video of the NATO. The only thing that makes me think, hey, maybe there is something there. It's very rare nowadays. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare that like a pop star stays as popular and as much of a zeitgeist artist for as long as Taylor Swift has. Her debut album was 2006. She's been out there for almost 20 years already. Right. Usually these pop stars peak at like album 2 or 3, and then they like play hard rock
and her music
for the next 20 years.
It has the
She's
creativity.
Like filling stadiums. She's been out there almost 20 years. I mean, that has happened from time
to me,
time,
it's
but it's very rare.
It's like people paying to hear somebody do Juicy Fruit gum ads. Like, what the fuck would you listen to this for that period of time?
Exactly.
For, right.
Right.
It's not about the
there's
music.
nothing there that's so
Bob Dylan, these artists last forever because you just listen to the material. Like it makes sense that they'd last forever. Right. Taylor Swift, what? Yeah, it's like the same just mass marketed crap time after time after time, but she's only gets more popular as time goes on. And now it's
it's like being a Josie and the Pussycats 17 years. Like,
right.
like what? Why would you be into that?
Well, also she's not doing.
Maybe she is. I think we would get more clicks on this segment if we said
he's suggesting that she's a creation. Maybe she doesn't exist at all.
No. She was a rich kid that a lot of rich kids don't do anything with their money, and she became a musician. She had advantages, whatever. Yeah. Like America's industry plant. Like I don't think she's not like the Monkees where they just created it. She's her own thing. Then you get co-opted as you're a shill.
I mean, up to a point. She writes some of her music, but there's I forget the name. There's like this guy in Iceland who writes half the music that these people. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. He'll write anything. Half the songs these guys sing, it's so formulaic. There are two people who are the primary songwriters for all these people: Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. Because it's such a standard, non-creative structure.
I write jokes for people.
I listen to music like this and I say, okay, man. I mean, you're telling me Silicon Valley really isn't at the point you could just have a program write these songs?
They're almost there.
There's no humanity in it. There's no.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
And there's such a paucity of creativity. You listen to the older pop music, even to a little call out to our show. We use an Iron Maiden sound drop on it. Okay, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. You look at something like that, or you look at the Beatles, A Day in the Life. There are like 4 musical concepts minimum that play out over the course of those songs. Now it seems like they have such a paucity of ideas. They would never let a song go on a journey like that because that's 4 songs they could release.
Yeah,
instead of putting it all into
everything's
one
a
song.
psyop. Like it's a like this is in every genre of everything. There's some massive corporation that's got to gives to stockholder. I mean, now they're beyond giving. They just get investment for some rich guy that wants it that way. Right. It's not like even before where the stock. That's why Disney sucks. They always were pieces of shit, but now they're extra.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the ESG score. I think with this, it's just the corporatization of music. With Disney, you've got a whole other.
But they're all psyops. All listen, it's called capitalism. I love watching people like there's some perversion of what our amazing society is. That everything's crap. How could this have happened? Because it's called a profit motive,
right?
And people got to hold in their head.
It's late stage capitalism. Speaking of which, we're gonna have Boeing Part 2 coming up. So I hope nobody's taking a flight soon. But
I am.
In my defense, so am I. So
it better not be a diverse flight.
You can't say I'm just freaking people out because I'm not getting on a plane. I am. All right. So let's see the second part of this, where he brings in a former FBI agent here, Stuart Kaplan.
She's not permanent, too. It's part-time work. The same way Michael Rappaport is a shill for Israel. You pick up a job to do influencing.
Yeah,
so that's all it is.
It's like Chuck Berry at the Gong Show. She whacks people in Brazil. She gets back on the plane. Right?
She posted the link to the vote.org. It's like hundreds of thousands of young Taylor Swift fans all of a sudden registered to vote. I wonder who got to her from the White House or from wherever. Who makes that initial handshake? Is it the binder?
Well,
the binder.
The administration has what they consider a perception optics management team. And those are professionals that go out and identify those people who may be unsuspecting, whether with knowledge or without knowledge, to do these type of campaigns. Now, it is possible that Taylor Swift, quite frankly, does not know that she is being utilized in a covert manner to swing voters. But the bottom line is that the Biden administration is savvy, identifying how many followers and how many voters potentially she can influence with either right information or misinformation. She certainly can swing the voters.
Okay, so this is the thing. What's the difference between a lib who I am sure is completely supportive of the Democratic Party? I'm sure Taylor Swift is organically a vote blue no matter who Democrat, if you can use that word. So, of course, I mean, you're the president. You're going to solicit them
Jackson
to represent you. So is that a psyop? I mean,
yes.
That's politics. I mean, it's not something shadowy that secretly went on in a back alley. Taylor, hey, we want you to release this song, and it's going to have certain notes that when people hear it, they're going to think Joe Biden makes sense. It's not.
I don't think it's not that. I think it's like
I want you to tweet out a voter registration link. Like, that's a stretch. Oh, she tweeted out a voter registration thing. Like, anybody could do that.
Wait,
I think that was a little bit of a reach there.
Like, how is that a psyop?
Well, like I said, the first thing I heard was something about her. The economy is doing really good because Taylor Swift is doing these big concerts. Or it's some nonsense like that, I swear to God.
I mean, that sounds like some lib shit they would read in Newsweek and repeat. Two
friends were talking about it when we were making the Fresh Prez that I didn't write on the episode. And it's all about the Swifties. That storyline didn't come from me. That came from people that work professionally with shit libs. Yeah. And they've been hearing that, so that's how I know what the psyop.
One of these articles comes out in the Times or WAPO or Boston Globe.
That's the psyop.
And then they all repeat that line. And then next time you talk to your lib friend, it's very Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, Taylor Swift, her concerts are saving the world.
It's crazy. It's something when you hear it.
I know, it's crazy.
I forget from this show like how much people don't know shit about anything. So I talk to, you have to, that's again, not to get too mad at people because they don't know anything. Yeah. And they'll say this nonsense like, what are you talking about?
Well, what's most frustrating about it is they think they're informed because they obsessively take in this complete misinformation. And they think that means they're informed. Right?
I've been to church a lot.
They have the Sunday Times on the coffee table, right? So they know what they're talking about. You got anything, Keaton?
No. I think we settled it.
All right, we settled it. No conspiracy is required when interests converge, as the late great George Carlin said.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.